Good morning, my friends. So today we are up nice and early. I popped down to shops because we're going to be making our very first batch of the white chocolate lemon meringue Rocky Road for this Christmas season, as well as a I've been saying roasted garlic focaccia, but I don't have time to actually roast the garlic, so I guess we're just going to be making up a garlic focaccia. So my Oma and Upas, or on my mum's side, my grandparents from my mum's side, family tradition is we celebrate our Christmas on Christmas Eve. This year's happening a little bit early. Today is Sunday the 22nd, I think. Yeah, today is Sunday the 22nd of December, and we are going to be going there for lunch, which also normally our traditions are dinner, but that's okay. So things have been changed around. I popped to Woolies. Actually, I popped to the servo after I finished work last night about 10:30, and I got this one block of chocolate for $9 because that's just what the price was. They did have Cadbury 2 for 10, but the white chocolate and Cadbury was sold out. White chocolate Audi was sold out. I was meaning to go to Woolies before yesterday, and I just didn't. So I thought I was going to make the Rocky Road last night, so I went to the servo once I finished work, spent $9 on a block of chocolate to get home and realised it's a lemon meringue Rocky Road, and I still hadn't got lemons, so that's why we're up nice and early. Plus the focaccia dough, I didn't really put that into consideration. That needs to start early, so I popped to a Woolies just to get lemons and more white chocolate, just to see if they have white chocolate, because that seems to be hard to get lately, I guess with lots of Christmas baking and festivities happening around town, obviously. So I did get that. I did get the lemons. Lemons look beautiful, by the way, and it was very nice and peaceful and quiet there. There was like one other customer, so I'm like, you know what, this is really nice. Let's get everything else we need for this Christmas. I'll just do a quick overview. It's pretty much just free of what I got. Total spend was $73.35, and I think this is okay, and I'm excited. So this is everything I popped up for Woolies. One thing I still couldn't get is mint. I want some fresh mint, so I'm trying to avoid going into Westlands. I'm thinking of just going to our local garden centre and get a mint plant. I've tried to grow mint before. I've tried it 3 or 4 times now, and I cannot seem to manage to grow mint. White chocolate, this was the cheapest by the gram, so that should be fine. And these are on sale 2 for $7 something. So I got the Tim Tam caramel choc mocha to try, and we know we love the hazelnut latte. Nick's been loving the creme brulee lattes, but they didn't have any. Otherwise, this is the rest of the fruit. Pretty much all of this is for fruit platter. Lemons, we need the lemon rind of 1 for each Rocky Road batch. We're having one with the Rocky Road today. 4 lemons will be for the next, like the 4 times back of the Rocky Road, and then 2 lemons to go with our prawns. And I thought having lemons and limes with the prawns will look really pretty. These are passion fruit. These are so big and they're pretty weighty. They're $1.50 each. Thankfully, they went by the weight. Hopefully they're good in the inside. I don't know about how to pick out passion fruit, so hopefully that's okay. We got a couple of plums, mangoes, grapes, and I got 2 punnets of strawberries because I know it's by the weight, and these are big berries, but there's just not many. So we got 2 punnets of them. And yeah. Alrighty. I do have some water on the boil. That might look a little nicer. I just have some water on the boil. Where did I put them? Here. So my mother-in-law went to Adelaide yesterday, and she goes to this Asian grocery store, and she picked up these coffee sachets. So her friend says this is her now favorite go-to coffee. So she got us a few to try. So it's like a dairy creamer and coffee mix. Sugar, non-dairy creamer, and the coffee mix all in one sachet. Just if you were just to get these Nescafe sachets, I suppose. So I'm not sure. Oh yeah, it's Vietnam. Country of origin is Vietnam. So I have tried a Vietnamese coffee. We used to have a Vietnamese food van in our town. and they made Vietnamese coffee, and that was probably the best coffee. So I'm really excited to try this. So this is going to be the coffee for today. I'll have to do a taste test. Alrighty, so it's just a regular instant coffee. The smell from the sachet smelled nice and sweet, but once the hot water hit it, it doesn't smell very good. Oh. Oh, that's sweet. That's a lot of sugar. I mean, it's alright. It's alright. I don't normally have sugar with my coffee unless they are like in a sachet, but that has more flavour. That was pretty good. I mean, like, I'll drink what I have, what she's brought, and if she brought more, I would drink them, but I don't think it's something that I would go out my way to buy for, if you know what I mean. I don't know, the more sips I'm having, the more I'm enjoying it, so maybe that might change. So, got our coffee. I'm going to put this fruit in the fridge, and we'll start on this dough. We want to start the dough and get the yeast activating and things like that for the focaccia. So I've just quickly written down the ingredients, the recipe ingredients that we need for this dough. Now I love this focaccia dough because one, it is no kneading. I will leave the recipe that kind of inspired me to make this focaccia, how I do it. I don't have my own recipe. Maybe I might. I'll try and get photos today maybe and type up my own recipe. But the ingredients for the dough, I use Paul Hollywood's recipes ingredients, and his baking is the same, but our methods are different. He needs his, I don't need it, it's a focaccia. So I do the more sourdough method where you do your stretch and folds. I did that a couple of times. Done. It's all in the bowl. So, and it works out great. I'm going to get out the ingredients we need and scales, because another thing, it is all by weight. So it's just flour, salt, yeast, oil, olive oil, and water, all in the bowl. Fantastic. And then we will add garlic when I do a stretch and fold, and some rosemary as well. All right, we've already started making this bread, but turns out it didn't hit record. So we needed 500 grams of flour. I put in a bit too much, so just scooping some out. And this is the bread flour that I prefer to use. I haven't tried too many different brands, but with the brands I have tried, this one is definitely a winner. And then here is our Redmond real salt. We want 8 grams of salt. Oops, we got 9, that's fine. Yeast. Last time I used my yeast, my dough did not rise. I think I put the liquid in too much, too hot, because it's still, the expiry isn't until the end of February. So we still have a couple of months, so it shouldn't be bad yeast yet. So I really hope this works. But we wanted 10 grams of yeast. I'm actually going to quickly mix that. I was supposed to mix the salt before adding the yeast, because the salt and yeast don't like each other, apparently. That's what the professionals online say, so we'll mix that. Whoopsies, that's okay. So now we want to add in the oil, which is 30 mils, and water is 370 mils. So this is where I always have to do maths, because I need to get myself like an actual jug. So 1 cup is 250 mils, so we want 1 of water. Yeah, we'll add in some warm water, 370 mils. So 1 cup is 250 mils. Half of this will be 125. That will give us 375. So I'm just going to do 1.5 cups. And I'm just eyeballing the half cup anyway. So give or take an extra 5 mil there. And we want 30 mils of olive oil. I'm just going to eyeball that. 30 mils is essentially like an alcohol shot. So we'll just do a little bit there. And then we don't really need the scales now. I'm just going to take a spoon and give this a mix. This is a bit hard to mix with one hand, but this is kind of the texture that we're currently looking like. And I just kind of use my fingers to squish it down a little bit, but it's a very rough, shaggy dough. And we're just going to cover it with some plastic wrap. And now I'm going to position it in front of my window. This is the hottest area of my kitchen once the sun starts beaming through a little bit more. And I always like to wrap it up like a little blankie with a clean cloth or tea towel or something, just to give the bowl, and because the countertops are quite cold, just to give it some warmth, I suppose. I don't know if it actually does anything, but it does in my head. And I feel like that's like the love portion of it as well, which obviously everything tastes better when it's made with love. So we wrap it up and made it all nice and cozy. And we're probably going to leave this for, I would say 2 hours, but maybe in about an hour time, we'll do our stretch and folds. And now we have the lineup ready for the Rocky Road. So Rocky Road, white chocolate, lemon, so zest of 1 lemon, 1 of these digestive Lem Top flavored biscuits, or any kind of flavored biscuits, but these are the ones that I like to use for it. 3 individual meringue nests. My recipe called for 8 marshmallows, white marshmallows. I only got these jumbos. I'm probably going to use like 3 of those. A tablespoon of coconut and some cashews, which cashews we're going to toast. So that's going to be our first step, is get some of these unsalted cashews in a pan and get them lightly toasted. I just re-looked at my recipes, cut a cup of cashews, so this looks about right. And to toast, we're just going to shake the pan every so often, and we just want them lightly toasted. Alrighty, so we have everything chopped up into this dish. I have reserved some of the meringue pieces and the lemon top pieces so we can place them on top of the Rocky Road. The cashews I've chopped up. I feel like this might be a bit too much for the ratio, so I might only use half of this, but that's okay. The rest won't go to waste. I will just save it and it can be added to the next lot of Rocky Road in 2 days' time. Lemon zest I've added. I've also saved a little bit here to sprinkle on top, and this lemon, it smells so amazing, but we will juice that and freeze the juice, but that can be a little bit later. Now we're going to get the and I have to add my coconut. I'm just going to add a tablespoon of coconut in here, but now we'll get the chocolate melted up. Alright, got my dish ready, everything's all mixed, my chocolate's nice and melted. It really does not look like much chocolate in here, but that's okay. I've also remembered to add in the cashews. I did use most of the cashews that I had prepared. And you want to pre-mix everything before mixing it with the chocolate, especially for those marshmallows, because those sticky edges, like a lot will stick, or they'll stick together. But now we got everything in our bowl. Just simply mix it all together. I do get nervous sometimes that it's not enough chocolate. And I remember last year my block was 180 grams. This block's 170 grams. So I'm ripped off 10 grams of chocolate. And it is a bit of a stretch because there's a lot of filling. But it does, at least it did last year, hold together pretty well. See. So we're just going to pour it into our pan. And we don't really necessarily want it all the same pan size either. But I didn't want to put it in like one of my glass pirate containers because I felt like that would have made it too thick. So you just spread it out to whatever thickness you would like. And the best thing about Rocky Road is so customizable. If you want regular peanuts, like a traditional Rocky Road, and you're not a fan of cashews, use peanuts instead. Or if you don't like coconut, you don't need to add it at all. You're going to add dried apricots or cranberries to make it more like a white Christmas Rocky Road. So I'm just trying to maneuver the pieces so it's kind of even. So that's what we're looking like there. We're going to add in our toppings, so just some nice white pieces of meringue, and same with our lemon top. And of course, we don't want to forget the remaining lemon zest. And that I'm just going to sprinkle all over, and that just gives it a nice vibrant pop of yellow, which is beautiful. But this is definitely a recipe where you don't want to take chocolate tacks and eat chocolate while you melt it, because it is very, like, kind of nerve-wracking with how little chocolate there actually is compared to the filling. I kind of wish that even use like an extra 30-40 grams, but then it's like a whole block plus a little bit. So that's why I just kept it as just a simple 1 block per the recipe. But I'll show you what it looks like. So there we are. It looks so good. It smells so good as well. So now this is going to go into the fridge. Our dough is rising, so I definitely do feel like it was the yeast. It wasn't the yeast, it was the fact I probably killed it by putting in warm water. Actually, it was milk. Probably too hot and killed it. So that's a good sign that that's rising. So I'll let that go. I'm going to clean up, pop that in the fridge. I will do the first, I haven't even checked the time, to be honest. I'm going to say 30 minutes. I might go wash myself up, pot around in the garden, stretch and fold, and then go out, and then go about my morning, and then we'll come back when we make the focaccia, like bake the focaccia. Alright, so I've cleaned myself up, and we are going in with getting some garlic. So this is our homegrown garlic. It is all harvested. I got it drying out, so I had some laid out on the floor like you saw, and some in this colander up here. I didn't want to go too big. It is pretty powerful garlic. So I got it's a medium size out of all of my garlics, but it is a bit more on the smaller end of like a traditional garlic. But as you can see, it just looks kind of white and boring, but when you peel it away, the color is absolutely stunning. I'm always like, oh, every time I peel one. And I feel like the longer it dries out, the more deeper the color is getting. Like here is pink. I took one the other day. Literally yesterday, from the time I'm doing this voiceover. Today is Sunday the 29th of December. I filmed this on the 22nd, I believe. And it's like so purple. I don't know, stunning. Absolutely love fresh homemade garlic. Anyway, not homemade, homegrown. Anyway, so use a whole bulb. Chop that up nice and fine, and the peels I'm putting in this bag for the freezer. So then when we get into soup making season and broth making, this is going to add delicious flavor. The root pieces I do not keep. I do compost that, and then if I decide not to keep it, I'll just compost the stuff anyway, but it is fine. Now focaccia, I did do 2 rounds of stretch and folds, which I did show in a focaccia recipe video. I didn't do that long ago, to be honest. I'd done it then, and I've just been making a bunch ever since. So we've done 2. We're almost ready to bake. We're adding in our garlic, and we're going to start another round of stretch and fold. So I got Nick here being my cameraman. You can see my hand is wet. To work with bread dough, you definitely want to work with a wet hand, because the wetness just prevents the dough sticking to your fingers, and then soon you'll see I find it like it's sticking to my fingers, so I just go and wet my hands again. So I do end up wetting my hands like 2 or 3 times throughout this process, and it's so much easier without getting that dough just stuck to you. Here I am maneuvering the dough a whole lot more than a traditional stretch and fold, because I've added the garlic. I want to really incorporate that garlic throughout the dough, but the dough is just such a nice, it feels like slime. Like the texture is like a slime, in a way. Not obviously it's not slime, but it just feels very nice and fun to play with, and it's not like a dough that you really need to knead. Now this olive oil, this is my first time using a local olive oil. I got this from a Kips, I believe. If it wasn't there, it would be the Wildlife Visitor Centre. I always forget what products I get from where. I believe this one was from a Kips. Now the olive oil is delicious. I do love it. I will repurchase it, yes. Will I use it for focaccia again? Probably not. It wasn't my favourite taste for the focaccia. The focaccia was a big hit. Everyone complimented it and was
really did enjoy it at my Uma and Upa's house, so I'm glad with that. But because I've been making so many focaccias and I've been using different olive oils, when I used this one I could taste the difference in the olive oil, and it just wasn't my personal preferred flavor of olive oil for this recipe. Again, this olive oil is great for other things that I have done, but yeah, I don't think I will use this olive oil again for a focaccia, but that's just my personal preference. And then that's the thing with olive oils as well, and well, really it goes along with any ingredient. The different brands or the different qualities and how things are processed, it really does change a recipe pretty big. And that's one thing coming into 2025 I really want to experiment with, especially with spices. I want to get a higher quality spices, which will be expensive definitely, but I don't know, just little things like that, more so the spices we use a lot, and just experiment and see the taste difference. Anyway, so we put it in this pan, we let it sit for another 30 minutes, and now I'm putting more olive oil on the top. You don't want to be shy with the olive oil when you're making a focaccia. This is some dried rosemary from my parents' garden I had preserved, so I'm sprinkling some of that in as well. So we just got the base focaccia recipe, and all I've added is garlic, and I sprinkled on the rosemary and some extra salt on top. And the oven was preheated at 200 degrees or 190 degrees. I always forget. I think it's 190 degrees actually. And it bakes for 20 minutes. Yeah, that's right. 190 degrees for 20 minutes. Sometimes when I make this, I let it go for another 5 minutes. Sometimes I don't. In this case, I did. It just wasn't that golden enough for me. But this is what it looks like prior to going into the oven. So I love doing the grooving texture to give it the proper focaccia look, and that really helps the air bubbles to pop up, and they are the crispiest tasting pieces. And while I was getting this done, Nick did serve us up a bowl of ramen, just a quick ramen, absolutely delicious. So this was baking in the oven for 20 minutes, perfect time for me to scoff down that bowl of ramen. Once it comes out of the oven, so this actually was in for 25 minutes, we brush it with some more olive oil, surprise, surprise, but that just gives it a very nice finish, because you can definitely see the difference there of what's been brushed and what's not, and it's not like a greasy feel either because it kind of soaks into the bread. It's really, really good. So the bread is now cooling, perfect time to chop up the rocky road. And at this point I realized I'm running late, so I kind of after this clip I kind of stopped filming. I didn't film the rocky road like presented nicely or the focaccia presented, so I do apologize for that. But again, I just wanted to get to my family gathering and bring this food because yeah, I was running a little bit late. But the Christmas get together was absolutely fantastic. Oh, there's a little bit of a close-up of the rocky road. We had such a great time. All the food was delicious and it was great. So here's just a couple of snippets. So this is like a Dutch kind of waffly biscuit in a Ben & Jerry's. So me and Luke gifted that to my grandparents, one each for them to share, plus their favourite bottle of booze. And then my mum made some coconut rice and some peri peri chicken that's under that red bag to keep warm. And my Uma had this plate out. It looked really cool. I don't know what she did use it for something, to be honest. I can't remember, but I like the plate. And it's kind of funny now, like now that we're all older. I'm not the youngest grandkid. I'm actually I'm the middle I'm the middle child and the grandkid on this side of the family. But anyway, it's funny. There's not a Christmas tree with lots of presents. The presents there now is for my grandparents, and they do gift us an envelope. And my favourite tradition is these lolly jars. I don't know why, but it's just my favourite thing to receive from my Oma and Opa is just these lolly jars. Something so little, but it happens each year, and we always know where she doesn't hide them, where she displays them. It's just fun to look, and just like the anticipation of getting that lolly jar at Christmas. Anyways, my uncle made the Dutch croquettes, my mum made the rice and the peri peri chicken, and that was a bit of the focaccia on the plate. My Oma done up these desserts from my rocky road there, and the day was absolutely delicious and lovely and great spending with family. Thank you so much for watching this video. Sorry this ending is kind of terrible, but subscribe and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!